Hey guys. I'm absolutely freezing right now because I went to work out tonight and it was raining and I was wearing this hoodie and it's damp. But I love this hoodie. Okay. Anyway, not the point of this video. Um, Lacey Green made a video tonight about her struggle with depression and some of the stigma that exists around mental health. And I wanted to talk about this because this is something that I've experienced that I'm going through now. And yeah, I just want to talk about it. So when I say like I've experienced it and I'm going through it now, the thing about like mental health illnesses and stuff is that they never really go away. Like there's definitely times where they're not really affecting you or like it's not something you have to deal with, but it usually will come back or usually relapse. It doesn't ever really just like vanish. There's not a cure for mental health stuff, which sucks because you have to kind of deal with this uphill battle for your entire life. It doesn't ever really disappear, and that can be really hard. And I think people sometimes think of like depression and stuff like that as being temporary, and like if you get treatment that you'll be okay, and it doesn't always really work that way. So I've struggled since I was like 14 with depression. And, it definitely is something that has its ups and downs for sure. There's definitely times where I feel like really good. I don't feel, depression or like self loathing or whatever. It doesn't get in the way of my life. Yeah, and then there's other times where it does. And, I just feel extremely lethargic. For me, I always know when I'm kind of relapsing a little bit, even if it's a short relapse. I've had like periods of like just 2 days where I've relapsed. It's not always like a long occurrence. But anyway, I always am more tired. I always sleep more. That's one of the telltale signs is that I know that I'm slipping back, because that's the thing is that sometimes like I don't know, I don't even always like realize I'm slipping. Um, because I don't know, I guess when you have like the your brain being wired the way a depressed person's is, it's not, your thinking and your thoughts and your behavior isn't always that different from the norm. Like it might be a little bit different and you might feel a certain way, like you might just feel very empty or very sad or whatever, but it might not be like that different from every day. Um, or you might attribute it to something that's happened. So it's just not always as obvious as you think. But I think like if you are dealing with mental health issues, it's a really good idea to figure out what those specific I guess symptoms are for you, because they're going to be different for everybody. But like figure out what those are, because then you'll figure out when you're slipping, and then you can get out of it easier instead of falling down more. But like I know when I started college, not really during this summer, because I started this summer, but during like the beginning of the fall semester, I was kind of struggling with depression again. Like I don't know, I just didn't really feel like going out or doing anything. I just kind of wanted to like be by myself all the time, which I'm definitely more introverted and I need my alone time a lot. Like I just can't handle being around people that much. But it was like getting to a real extreme where, I didn't even want to like hang out with a friend like once a week. You know what I mean? It was just getting like really extreme. Where like I wouldn't leave my dorm all weekend. So, and I just think that's kind of an issue. So, I know stuff like that, and I know like kind of the signs, and so then I can kind of like intervene with myself, because that's the thing. Not especially too if you live alone. If there's not always somebody around you, to notice. You need to be able to notice yourself what's going on with you and check in with yourself. But it's hard, and I know that happened, and I've even since then like had a couple of just little dips here and there. And I'm the same way as Lacey in that when I get depressed, I get really unproductive. Like I just don't feel like doing anything. And also I have this kind of weird mindset where like when I try to do something productive, there's all this like chatter in my head about like how I want to not be doing it, how I just want to be done with it, how boring it is, how terrible it makes me feel to do it. and, like, it just, like, really impedes me working. Um, it's just, like, this really annoying internal dialogue. So, I mean, that happens sometimes. But, you know, like, how I'm dealing with it, you know, I've definitely gone through different treatments and stuff. I'm in therapy. I'll probably be in therapy for the rest of my life. And I actually really enjoy therapy. And I'm very open about going to therapy. I really like therapy. So, there's therapy. And then, am I doing anything else? I'm trying to think. I mean, I've thought about going. I've been on medication before. I've had some, like, complications, I guess, with it, and part of that just being personal, I guess, motivation. But I don't know. I've considered going back on it. I actually thought, when I realized I was depressed at the beginning of the semester, that I would go back on meds, but then I got out of it, and then I'm like, no, I don't need to. So I don't know. Part of me is like, maybe I just should do it. But at the same time, I don't know how much it would actually help me, because I'm more of the mindset that meds give you some kind of, like, they give you, like, a different state of mind, but it doesn't really change, like, yourself. Because I know, like, when I was on meds, you know, for a year, like, straight, I was on, like, Prozac. I remember feeling, like, better. Like, I felt happier in general. I felt more content. You know, I just felt, like, better with, and I guess, like, more, like, at peace with myself. But it was weird, because I remember feeling that way, but not really understanding why. It just kind of seemed like a very false emotion. Like, it didn't seem real in a lot of ways. It just felt like, I was like, I'm happy, but I don't really know why. So it was one of those, like, really confusing things. Because I'd be like, I don't understand how I'm feeling. And it almost made it harder for me to get in touch with my emotions, because part of me felt like a lot of them weren't even, like, really me. It was the meds. And then eventually I developed a tolerance to it, and it stopped working, and I had to up my dosage. And I'm also kind of scared of going down that road of, like, you know, building a tolerance, which happens, you know, and then having to increase the dosage, and, you know, just being so dependent on a drug. And, you know, I just don't want to really have that kind of dependency. So, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go back on meds, but it's, I guess, a possibility. If I had some kind of major, like, incident, I think I would. But otherwise, I'm going to stay good as I am. But I guess the whole point was, like, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And, you know, I mean, I think a lot more people struggle with it than you realize, because there's a stigma and people just don't really talk about it. You know, like, it's kind of an awkward conversation to just be like, hi, I'm a depressed person, or hi, I'm bipolar, or whatever, you know? You don't really, like, talk about that kind of stuff with many people, except, like, people you're really, really close to. So, yeah, hi, I'm here, and I struggle with depression. And some probably other things. I probably have an eating disorder, but haven't really dealt with it yet. It's nothing. It's not like a major issue though. Anyway, I'm getting really off topic, but if you're dealing with this kind of stuff, hang in there. If you want, I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable taking questions just because I'm not a professional. I think you should ask a professional, because I don't want to, like, you know, say that I know all the answers, because I know what works for me, but I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you, you know, I can't really give you medical advice. So talk to someone if you think you should, and I will see you guys later.